Moving on to our prepared speeches, that's le discours préparé. Let's all gear up and enjoy the learning experience. Préparons-nous et profitons de l'expérience d'apprentissage. Maintenant, nous allons appeler notre premier first speaker. Our first speaker, DTM Elizabeth Sasu.
Hello.
DTM Lizzy is a woman of many talents and skills and has aspirations of creating a long-lasting impact in the aviation industry in Ghana and the sub-region. She's an entrepreneur, aviationist, IT administrator, travel author, and PR consultant, as well as a journalist. She has completed 2 parts in her Toastmasters journey. That is the innovative and persuasive influence part. Also, she is the newest, as well as the youngest, DTM in Division G, and also the DCP committee head for the division. Not sir, DTM, Lizzy est une femme au numéro talent et compétence et aspire à créer un impact durable dans l'industrie de l'aviation au Ghana et dans la sous-région. Elle est entrepreneur aéronautique, l'administratrice informatique, consultante en voyage ou visite et relations publiques, ainsi que journaliste. Elle a parcouru des chemins dans son aventure Toastmaster. C'est la voie de l'influence innovative et persuasive. En outre, elle est la plus récente et la plus jeune DTM de la division G et également la responsable du comité DCP de la division. Let's welcome Madame Lizzy Sasu.
Merci beaucoup, our Toastmaster of the day. Thank you so much, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today, I am doing my level 1 project 3 in my strategic relationship part, researching and presenting. Why are we here today? Why have we joined Toastmot the Passe Toastmasters Club? I made a choice to join this club so that I can work on my French speaking skills. What about you? Many of us find French so difficult to learn. Why? I think that because of its complex grammar and other linguistic nuances that does not exist in the English language. According to jimgles.com, the reason why we find French so difficult to learn is because of its tenses. We have feminine and masculine in French, but for English, you don't have that in English. So I have learned English since infancy. It's so easy. But when it got to the point for me to learn French language, I started learning French at the age of 6 years from my primary education, class 1. French was an elective for me in senior high school. The reason why I selected to do French in senior high school was because I wanted to be a cabin crew. And for you to be a cabin crew, you needed to learn other languages apart from English. When it comes to writing of French, I am so good at it. But when it comes to the speaking, then I find difficulty in it. Why do I find difficulty in speaking French? Sometimes when I'm about to pronounce the word, I feel so afraid of making a mistake. During my senior high school, yes, our French teachers were teaching us how to write French, how to listen to the languages, the tones, and everything. But what they forgot was for us to speak to people who already knew how to speak French. What they forgot was to help us to make friends with other people in other French-speaking countries. That is what I have realized now. That is the reason why I have chosen to be in Toastmot de Passe, to meet other Francophones. I believe that when you are learning a language and you put it into practicals, it's very easier for you than rather just putting it on paper, reading it, chew and pour, and then you are done. I did a research on why French learning is hard. But from the research, according to the French objective, French is not hard to learn. The reason why we think French is hard to learn because of its linear learning approach that our teachers use in our schools. But from the research, our teachers are supposed to use the circular learning approach or the rounded learning approach. And that is the example I gave you. After doing the theory in the classrooms, we need to go out there and practicalize it. Some friends of mine who went out there, who did exchange programs, went to Benin, Togo, France, today are very versatile in speaking the French language. But for me, after my senior high school, I did not travel to any French-speaking country. So I have forgotten totally everything French. If not for joining Toastmot de Passe about a year ago, I would totally have not been able to say even one word in French. The reason why I find learning French very hard is because of the pronunciations. Some of the words in French are silent. Some of the alphabets are very silent in French. And for me, as an English-speaking individual, I know that in English, every word has to be pronounced. So for instance, if I want to say cake, cake is spelled C-A-K-E. What I've realized after doing this research is that cake is spelled C-A-K-E. But when I am pronouncing cake, I do not add the E. The E is silent. So instead of saying kake, it's cake. And that is the same thing I need to apply when I'm speaking or pronouncing words in French. Some words that are silent in French are the H and the E. So let me say, if I can say it in French, H for ha, and then E for eh. Now I want to pronounce a word like habiter. Let me share my sound, okay? I want to pronounce a word like habiter. Previously, I would have pronounced it as habiter by mentioning the H. But after doing this research, I realized that it's not habiter, but it's habiter. So I'm going to play the sound so that we can all
Habiter.
understand the word. We can all be able to pronounce the word.
Habiter.
So from the sound that you're hearing, you realize that the H was not pronounced, but rather the A. A-A. So habiter, habiter. From this research today, believe you me, my French is going to be better. I'm going to play another word. The H-I-V-E-R. Previously, I would have said hiver. I would have mentioned the H. but from the sound,
hiver,
it tells me that I should forget the H and just concentrate on the E, the I. So hiver, meaning winter, hiver. Now we go to malade.
malade,
When you look at the spelling of malade, it's M-A-L-A-D-E. Previously, I would have said malade. But from this research today, I've realized that we don't pronounce the E.
malade,
So it's just malade. I hope that from my sharing of these sounds, you are getting acclimatized with what to do and what to learn when you are learning French. Fellow Toastmasters, fellow guests, let's not tell ourselves that French is difficult. I know that when we're learning French from primary to SHS, our teachers were always beating us. They were always using canes to discipline us because they thought we were not doing what we were supposed to do. That is why most of us are afraid of the language. But now we have Google. We have the Google Translator. We have Wikipedia. We have internet in our homes that we can use to do research. We don't have to depend on our teachers anymore. The story that I usually say with regards to if something happens to us in Ghana, where would we run to? Now, we are about to have our December 7th election. Touch wood. In case something happens, like what is happening in Abidjan, Nigeria, even the US, and Lizzy, I have to run away with my family. If I am not able to communicate in this second language, that is the French, because we are all surrounded by French countries. If I go to Togo, French. If I go to Burkina Faso, what will we do? What will I do as Elizabeth? The only place that I can run to is the sea. And if I enter the sea, then, that is all. So, fellow Toastmasters, let's take this Toastmot the Passe seriously. This is a place where we learn through fun. This is a place that I believe that if I was not able to speak French in the SHS, with how this training is made up of, with how we learn through fun in Toastmot the Passe, I will better my French speaking maybe in a year's time. Maybe in a year's time, I can travel to France and be able to communicate effectively with the people I meet. I am also a travel agency. What happens to me when someone from Togo wants a travel package, but the language the person knows how to speak is just the French? How do I communicate in order for us to have a beneficial business arrangement? The French language is a very important facet of our lives. And from this research that I have done today, I believe and I trust and I have told myself that French language is not a difficult language. And from now on, I am going to take my learning seriously so that by a year's time, I'll be able to communicate effectively in the language. Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Over to you.
Thank you, DTM Lizzy. That was indeed a beautiful speech. And of course, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. According to TM Lizzy, let's not tell ourselves that French is difficult. We have all it takes to learn. And what is the answer? The answer is Toastmot the Passe. Thank you, DTM Lizzy, once again. We'll
Thank
be moving on to our next speech. But before we move on to our next speech, pour mes amis francophones, tout ce que TM Lizzy veut nous dire est que le français n'est pas aussi difficile comme elle avait pensé. Et nous avons tous les moyens qu'il nous faut d'apprendre le français. Alors, essayons d'apprendre le français. Et vous aussi, vous les francophones aussi, essayez d'apprendre l'anglais parce que Toastmot de Passe est ici pour nous aider. Merci beaucoup. Yeah, we move on to our second speaker. He's in the person of Mr. Ivo Ketz